Okay, so let me share my screen and let's do this. So class date. So that's what we're going to learn. You learned the Python before because I see that you were in the Python level 5 class. So you used the date in Python before. So here Java, you see it's very similar to that Java date. It's also using January the 1st, 1970 as the epoch time. Okay, that's the start of time. And let me give you this URL, and I want you to take a look at this website. So, in Java, when you do development, when you do more and more development, you really want to come to Java org website. So this is this is the standard basic Java org website. Okay, this is the basic one. So you come here, when we do Java, we use class. So class will be the basic unit. And then if we use class, then we want to come to learn what can we do with this class? What does this class provide? So that's what we need. So that's why we need to come to read this website. So this is the website for date class. So how can you create a date? What does date provide? So take a look at this. And you look at the constructor, okay? The constructor, you can use date and the data and with a parameter. When you look at the constructor, actually there are several ways to construct a date instance. Okay, you can just use date, and then you use this one. The other constructors actually are deprecated, okay? But you see, you will have all those methods. There are a lot of methods, but you will just pay attention to this comparison method. If you have two dates, you have two dates of instance, you want to compare which one is before, which one is after. So these are very important method for you to use. So the first thing, let's just come to do an example. So let me give you this code example, and you can run it. Right? So let me just use this here. So I use date. So I use date to create a new instance. I use new date, this constructor. Then I want to use the get time method. So go back to the website, see get time. What can we got? You use get time. Get time will return number of milliseconds since the epoch time. Okay, so that's what you got. And you can also use date to string. If you do not provide if you do not provide a number when you construct the data instance, it will just go to read your system clock. The read your system clock gets the current timestamp. So let me just save it and run it. Okay, you see, this is the get time method give to us. That's the milliseconds. The milliseconds past. Milliseconds past the epoch time. Now here, if you get the data converted to a string, that's what you got. You get the Wednesday, June 16th, this time, 18, this 24-hour time, okay? EDT is the daylight saving time, okay? So this 2021, that's what you got. So you can use data to string data get time. So if you remember that too, and then that's what you got. This give us an explanation I just mentioned. Okay, I just mentioned. So you get time getting the milliseconds since midnight. And then you need to take a look at the before, after, and equals, what I just mentioned. You use it to compare the date instance. The compare to, you can also use to compare. So you can do that. So which one is before, which one is after? So you see, once you get a two instance, you need to make sure both should be in a data object. Then you can use this before, after, and equals. Right? So then let's learn data format. So I need to give you this website. You need to take a look at this format. This is a website and also very important. And why it is important? I just mentioned if you want to compare, you need a two data object. So how can you get in the data object? Of course, you can use a new data to do that, right? You can use new data to do that. So if you have two data objects you want to compare, you have to have the data object. But if you only have a string, how can you get the data object? So then you need to spend some time to understand what is the formatting. Right? Let me just do that. Let me go there. Okay. So when you look at this, you need to pay attention to this. Okay, formatting. So what does G mean? What does lowercase y mean? What does M mean? And what does lowercase m mean? Oh, lowercase m. So capital M. So what does it mean? So that's very important. That's the data formatting. Okay, so let me go back. You see here. I use the simple data format. You see what I do? I use E, and then y, then dot mm, dot dd, and the at hhmms, then a, then z. So what does this mean? Let's come back to the website. What does capital E mean? Okay. Capital E means So you dropped out, you get disconnected, ED.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi broke.
So where you get lost? When? So did you get the link for this website?
Yeah, only got lost like a minute ago.
So you got to this website, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to pay attention to the format and these characters. What does it mean? So then you know that we have this source here, and then you come to take a look at this code. When I use a simple data format, and you say you have E, Y, capital MM, lowercase dd. What exactly do they mean? So you say, what does E mean? You need to come back to the website. What does E mean? It's the wicked, okay? The name of the day in the week. So then what does lowercase mean, D mean? Lowercase D mean day in the month. So if I have a capital D, then day in the year, okay? Day in year, that means the 1st of February. It is not 1. Actually, it's 32 because January has 31 days. So that's how it meant. Okay, that's how it meant. So that's the data formatting. So let me give you this, and I want you to run it. And so let me run it here as well. So I get a date, then I get the data format. I have the E, Y, 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 M, M, D, D, and then H, H, M, M, S, S, A. So what does lowercase a mean? So let's just take a look at it. Lowercase a means AM, PM, right? Okay. And then what does ZZZ mean? ZZZ is time zone. All right. So let me save this code and run it. So you see, that's what it printed out. The current date, Wednesday. The year, month, day. And this all minutes, seconds. This AM, PM place. This EDT, time zone. So you can get the time zone. The time zone will tell us this daylight saving time or not. All right, so let's move on. So you can pass a string to a data using data format. I say when you compare two dates, they both have to be in data object. But if you have a string, how can you convert a string to a data object? That's what is happening here. You see, this is a data format. It tells you it's YYYYMMDD. And then you have a data object. So you use data format to pass this string. And you tell the system this string is a format. This way as a data object. So that's why you convert a string to a data object. And when you print it out, what you will got? You will got a data string, just like a data toString. Okay, it will print out as that. All right. So let me give you this code and I want you to run it as well. Let me save it. And then I run it. This is the time date object to string. That's the format we got. This is the format we got. Okay. So that's this line of code. To print out a T. So any question, ED?
No.
You follow along, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So can you just do an access, find a movie star that you like, get his or her birthday, use that to get the ticks seconds from the epoch. Print this out. Okay. Also use time compare method to print out the true if it is older than the epoch time. Else, print out a false. This is somewhat involved. Okay. First, you need to get the birth. You get the birth, then you need to convert it to an data object. Then you need to use it to get the time and then find out how many seconds. So if you use get time, you get a milliseconds. So you need to convert it to seconds. And I want you to print that out. And then you can compare this time to the epoch time to see if it's true or not. And let me give you the requirements in the chat. If you need my help, you tell me. If you do not, once you finish, you let me know, then you share your code to me. You can paste your code in the window, or you can share your screen. Just ask me to stop sharing so you can share your screen to me. Alex, we are doing this exercise. So can you see if you can do it? We're talking about, I can give you this example. Once you get a string, how can you convert it to a date? Let me give you this example here. And also, you need to go to this website. Go to this website to know what is a data class. Okay, so then you come to do this access, see if you can do it. So did you get it done?
No, I'm not entirely sure yet how to.
You are not sure how to do it, right?
Yeah, I'm still looking for the function to do it.
Okay. So if you're not sure, so just this one, you say you have this data format. You just need to find out what's the birthday for your movie star. And once you got that, then you know how can you get the minutes, the seconds past the epoch. And after that, then you just compare it to the epoch time. So how can I get the epoch time? Let me just do it again if you want. I will say that epoch time. What should I do? Just use new date 0. So you get a new data for epoch. Because the construct, you see the construct, you can use a number to construct it, right? And this number you passed in is the milliseconds. And if you use 0, that means 0 millisecond past the epoch time. So that's exactly the epoch time.
How do you find the milliseconds of the date?
Okay. So let's say if you already get it data, right? So let me just do one more. Okay, just use this one. T get time. If you use get time, what do you got? Let's come here. Get time. It's the milliseconds. So you get milliseconds past the epoch time. So you just need to divide it by 1000. Okay. And then now you will see what is printed out. For me, that's this one. It prints out this. That's how many seconds. Because the data get time, you got how many milliseconds past the epoch time. Okay, continue working on it. And after you finish, then you just share your screen to me. So here you will only get the difference, and what I'm looking for is that the first one, ED, I want to print out how many seconds passed. So you just use the first part of your operation on line 129, right? Okay, yeah, and then start a new line. You use if, do not use the system. Use if, okay, parentheses. You need a parenthesis. Not using get time. Do not do that. We don't need that anymore. So if parenthesis t dot after, because you are trying to compare, right? And then you use the epoch time. If that's true, then you print out the true, right? That's a requirement I want, right? You just use system print out the true, else you print out the false. Yeah. So if you do that, that's exactly what I asked for. You need a semicolon in the end. Yeah. Okay, very good. Thanks. So Alex, you follow along? You have any question?
I'm still not fully sure of how this works.
Okay. So let me just go back and do some description. So what we are going to learn today is data class. Data class, you can construct the data using just using new data, or you can construct the data like this. And here you can use a simple data format. This class can pass. It can pass a string. If the string is in this format, they can pass that string and they convert the string to a data object. So that's why you see this is a string. But if you use data format to pass it, then you get a data object. That's this one, T. Okay. Data object has all those methods. So if you wanted to see the methods, you just come here to take a look at all the methods that the data object has. Yeah, it has a lot of methods. Now, before you compare between two data objects, so which one is after, which one is before, and it returns a true value or a Boolean value. Okay, so let's move on. So getting time is very important. It can help us find how fast a process is. So I think if you were in my Python class, you see this example before, and now this example is written in Java. So let me give you this example, and I want you guys to run it, and then I will explain the code, what we are trying to do with this code. Let me just replace all my code here. So you see, in this example, I have two variables, x and y. Okay. So I do an infinite loop here. It's, of course, it's not an infinite loop, because when you just look at while true, it is an infinite loop. But I do have a break here. So you see, each iteration you come in, you just increase x by timing 1.2, but you increase y by adding 1 million to it. That's a very big number, right? Y start is just 1, x start is 2, okay? But every time you come into loop it, you add 1 million to it. But because this is a multiply, so eventually this will increase much fast when the number increases. So eventually x will larger than y. Now when that happens, I break the loop. And at that moment, I get my time again. Now here you see, I get my time. Now I get my time again. So I wanted to compare how many milliseconds my process take to finish this. How you see how fast that x will catch the value and overtake y's value. So let me just run it. Okay. You see it only takes 159 milliseconds. It's no more than 0.2 seconds. It's a sub-second. Because the computer runs very fast. It runs very fast. So when you just multiply, after several iterations, x value will be larger than y's value. So this gives you an idea, how do you check that a process takes how much time to finish? This is very important if you write application for a company. They wanted to see the performance of your application, how efficient it is. If you come to my USQL class, and this is a core focus. You are not only trying to write application, write scripts. You are trying to write efficient scripts and the efficient solution to solve the problem. That's what we want. So that's why it is a focus of the USQL class. How can I improve the efficiency? And when you see the efficiency, then you need to come to see how long does it take. So this is how you do it. Okay. So you have the start time, and then you take the end time when the process finish, and then you know how long does it take. And this is a very good skill you need to know in the future, so you can write this in your application. I think almost all companies, if they wanted to do a professional software, they need that. They can tell people how long does it run. Okay. All right. So let's move to the next step. All right. So in Java, there is also a way to keep your system asleep. When I say your system, actually is just this application. So it's this thread. So you can use sleep to put the system in a sleep state for a certain milliseconds. Try use that in the previous example. So what do I mean? You just use a thread dot sleep. Then you give how many milliseconds you want the system to sleep. Then that system will not do anything. It will not do anything. It just sleep for that long. And then wake up to continue to execute your code. All right. So if you have that, so let me give you the code and you look at my screen, see where I will put it. So I will put it here. So I will put it in the loop because, okay. So I will put this code, in my loop. So every time when you come, so I have to use a try catch. So every time it comes to the loop, they will just sleep for 10 milliseconds. Right? They will sleep for 10 milliseconds. So you see my application used 159 milliseconds before to process. So now every iteration it comes in, it sleeps for 10 milliseconds. This will greatly increase the process time. So let me run it. So you see it takes 1176 milliseconds. It was 159, right? So every iteration that comes in, process, then it sleeps here when it runs into this statement. It sleeps for 10 milliseconds and then go to execute the next line. Okay, so that's how you can put your application in sleep. Now, why do we need this? Sometimes if you doing parallel processing, okay, so you are waiting for another process to feed the data, and then this process starts like 1 second ago. It may take 10 seconds for it to finish processing, then it can feed your process the data. So you will keep your thread sleeping. So every time you sleep for like 10 milliseconds, you go to check if the data come in. If it does not come in, you sleep for another 10 milliseconds. You keep doing that. This way, you are not using much of the resource because the computer sleeps on your process. Okay, so this resource is saved for other processes. And even you run into a loop, you will not exhaust the resources in the computer. But you are in a safe mode. You are trying to check if the other process finished or not. So that's how it is used. You want to keep your application sleep for a while, and then check. If you do not get it, you then sleep. Keep sleep. Just do that. Okay, makes sense to you? All right. So I just talk about you use date, get time. You can get the milliseconds that have passed the epoch time. There's another method in Java. There's another method in Java. that can help you get the milliseconds. So that's this one. That is in the Java system. Okay, you just use this one to get the milliseconds. It is called a system current time milliseconds. And you go to this website and just do a quick look. Okay, so this will also give you the milliseconds. Then let's just do a quick example. You say you can use try, right? And I give you this example. So you use a start time, you get the current time milliseconds. Then you just keep your thread asleep. So how many milliseconds you want your timer, your system to sleep? So it's this is 30, 300, 3,000. So every time come to here, you ask your system to sleep for 3 seconds. Okay. So ask it to sleep for 3 seconds, then you get the new date, and then you print this out. Then you see how long does it take. It's about, it will be about, okay, 3,000 milliseconds. So let me give you this code, and I want you to run it. Okay, you see this code get the date, and then sleep for 3 seconds. Then you print out the date again. So you use new data, it reads the time, the system clock at that time. Here you read the system clock again, and also you print out the difference between those two processes. So let me run it. Okay, the sleeps for 3 seconds. You see here is 49, here is 52, and the difference is about 3,000 milliseconds. It's 3 seconds. And that's exactly what you asked it to sleep. I hope this help you understand another way to get the time in milliseconds and also understand the thread sleep. Okay. All right. So let's move quickly then. Calendar. Another useful class to handle data time is calendar. It becomes more popular and it takes over many methods used to be defined in date. Okay. So Gregorian calendar is a concrete subclass of calendar, and it provides the standard calendar system used by most of the world. Okay, so let me give you these two URLs. I want you to take a look at it. How to handle calendar. So I want you to look at the fields of this class and then look at the compare and the get method. And then you know the calendar is the parent class. Gregorian calendar is a child of calendar. But this is a concrete class. Calendar is an abstract class. We will talk about what is an abstract class, what is an concrete class later on. Okay. So let me just give you this example, and I want you to try that. Let me just copy the code and run it here. We're doing calendar. So you see I use Gregorian calendar class, and then use new to create an instance. Then I just print out this calendar to string. So let me save my code and then run it. You say this is a very big string. It's very long. Okay. Right. And when you look at this, you see that you can get all those information from this calendar object, all the data information. You see, you have seconds, you have minutes, you have day, you have hours, right? All those things actually are stored in this calendar object. And when you just use new Gregorian calendar, you do not provide anything to it. It will read the current clock and get the calendar for today. Okay, that's what that's what you will got. Okay, you see how do you construct a calendar? And you just use calendar, and you can also provide a year, month, and the day of the month. Right? You can do it that way. Now here, that's what we do. And the calendar get time will return a data object. Right? So now you see the bridge between the calendar class and the data class. If you wanted to get a data object from a calendar, you just use this one, get time. Okay, so let me give you this code, and I want you to look at my screen where I put it in. Let me just put this in. Okay, so you see, this is use calendar to string. Here I use calendar get time. Then you will see I get a data object because you saw me print out a data object before, right? And let me make it a print line. So you will see in 2 lines. You see this data object. When you printed that, that's what you got. That is what you got. So you see you use a calendar get time, you get in a data object. You see that bridge sets up. All right. So let me do the last slide. And you can print the month. Okay. And you can set a calendar this way. This will set a calendar. And when you do the print, you can also use calendar get calendar month. And it will print that for you. So let me just give this to you and I want you guys to try it. This will, when you do this, okay, you will set your calendar to that specific date. And when you print a month, you will see that November or 11th is print out. So let me give you the code. I want you guys to run it. Okay. So let me put the code here. You see here, I print out the month. And after I print it out, because this month, when you print out, it will be June 6th, okay? And when this is print out, it will be 11 because this is November. So let me just run it. Let me just use print 9. So okay, you see this print out 5, this print out 11. Okay. All right, so you guys get this result. Any question? Any question? Alex, does it make sense to you?
Alex, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, you get it to
Or
work,
you
right?
can put the answer in the chat.
You get the code to work, right, Alex?
I think so.
So how about you, ED?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. So then today, you know, we learned the date and the calendar. And then you know how to capture the processing time. And then there's another way to get milliseconds of the time. Use the system, current time milliseconds, in milliseconds. Okay, that's another way to get it. And you know, you can bridge calendar and the date. You use calendar, get time, then you get a data object. You can also set a date using this. Good. Set a calendar, okay? Set a calendar, use a date like this to do it. So this is a very good skills, and I think after this, we are talking more about what is a method, what is a class. It's more conceptual. Of course, you will still get some practice when we talk about the method, but when we get into class, it's more just lecturing, because that will lift you to another level. Okay, all the basic stuff, I think today, so we have learned all we need. The only thing we need to talk about the concept, about the method, and the class, and then you are good. So let me stop here. I really want you guys. We have the summer camp, and we have a programming for the robotic. If you guys have interest, you can come to join. Then you can put your programming skills in work. You can see that how can you use the code to control the robot. Anyway, so let me stop here and return the class back to Miss He.